She's been through storms, she's walked through fire, still moves with strength, not loud but higher, no spotlight needed, no grand applause. She stands for truth, she knows her cause, and she's not perfect, but she's real and sure, a woman of virtue who will endure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to L.O.V.E, Ladies of Virtue Endure 2026. And I am excited, and I know Crystal and Tanya are excited about being here today because we missed each other, huh? It's been a long time since we've been together, huh?
Yes.
Yep. So we enjoyed our break and everything. And if you guys watched our rewinds for 2025, you can see the difference of creativity that we had in giving our year in review. Our rewinds, they were good. If you haven't watched them already, continue to watch them. They're always up there for your review. Today, ladies, we are talking about that dress, the controversial dress. So if you don't know, this dress, do you want to pop it up, Tanya, for us? Okay, so if you don't know by now, there has been a big frenzy over a dress that Dr. Carrie Bryant, who is married to the controversial pastor Jamal Bryant, wore to a UNCF mayor's mask ball. Afterwards, a social media sparked about the dress, and there's this big debate about whether a first lady should have worn such a dress. Pastor Jamal Bryant came out and said that he bought the dress. So, and he had said some other things about the dress too. But I'm not going to mention that as far as people finding it offensive. Dr. Carrie Bryant, she also, in her defense, said that she doesn't dress for people, but rather for herself and her husband. We often see people one-dimensional. There is no book dictating how a church first lady must dress, and that her choice does not diminish her faith or commitment to service. So, ladies, what are your thoughts about this controversial dress? Is it appropriate for a first lady of a church, even though it wasn't a church event, is it appropriate for her to wear? Who don't talk first?
Crystal?
Personally, if I was a first lady of a church, I don't think I would wear something like that. And there's so many things that there's so many thoughts I have about it. I have thoughts on both sides. I would say that I wouldn't personally wear the dress as a first lady, as representing. As a first lady, I am, in my mind, practicing modesty, and I don't think that the dress is modest. I'm practicing modesty, and I am, in my mind, to be a leader to other young women. I'm going to leave it right there for now.
Okay. Tanya, what are your thoughts?
I think that, I guess my first issue with the whole controversy is the first lady piece. Who cares? Who cares if she's a first lady or not? She's a child of God. That's the first thing. So it's almost as though I have a different standard for the first lady but me as a Christian, I could do what I want to do. That's my first issue with this topic. I think the dress is inappropriate because of the optics of the dress. Now, the reality of the dress is not see-through. That
Right.
is a underlaying of the dress. So if the underlaying would have been pink or purple or blue or green, would it be okay? Would be my next question. But I think that the illusion of it being a see-through dress is inappropriate. Sorry, I'm getting some feedback. I don't know if that's my earpiece or not. But I think the illusion of it being a see-through dress is inappropriate for a child of God to wear. Because we are examples, whether we're the first lady or whether we are the children's pastor or whether we are on the praise and worship team, so on and so forth. So that's where I'm at. I think that it is inappropriate because it looks like it's see-through. It's covering up key areas to make it look see-through also.
Right. Okay. I think we're on the same page. Tanya, I like the fact that you brought up the fact that just because it's a first lady, that why we are having this controversy, the fact that she is a Christian woman or woman of faith should be the reason why we may be talking about the dress. And so that is really the whole basis of why I wanted to talk about the dress. My opinion, at first, I didn't think it was so inappropriate, only because of, you do have fresh colors. And if you look at the dress closely, you can see the fabric of it being there. So it's not, even though it gives the illusion, if you're up close, you can see there's fabric there. So I was kind of a little like, but then I was looking at the top part. And so I just feel that that's inappropriate for a Christian woman to have that kind of exposed. My other thing, which people were saying that they were talking about, is because of her shape, that she fitted the dress quite well. That is one thing, but at the same time, if you're a curvy woman, you can't hide your curves. I don't care what you put on. You can't hide them. To me, I just think. Now, I could be wrong. Tanya, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're a curvy woman. You can't hide your curves to the point where nobody can see them. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I just don't feel that it's a matter of her shape in the dress. I just think it's the dress being inappropriate for a believer. And as Crystal said about the modesty, the Bible says in Timothy 2:9-10 that I also want the woman to dress modestly with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. Now, even like on the talk shows and things like that, they were saying that the dress was inappropriate for first lady of a church and just maybe even a woman of faith. And they even brought up the point that the first lady in the White House would never be seen with a dress like that. So that's my opinion on the dress. Did it matter if it was a non-church event?
I don't think
Go ahead.
I don't think it matters that it's a non-church event, off of the simple fact that, I mean, if you're a woman of faith, if you're a Christian woman, then you're a Christian woman wherever you go.
Right.
I do think that it not being a non-Christian event, that I mean, you don't have to wear a dress like you going to church.
Right.
There's some freedom there. You have to wear, you're not going to a church anniversary, so you don't have to dress that way. But there is a you can still practice modesty without looking like you're going to church.
Right. Tanya, any thoughts?
Well, I agree. I think that no, I don't think that whether or not it's a church event, well, to an extent, yeah, I do think that matters. Because if I'm going out with my husband, I'm gonna put on something my husband like.
Right.
But I think that speaks to a whole different issue. Who did I pick?
Right.
Did I pick a man that wants me to look good and look, beautiful and all the things, but still respect my temple? So I think that who we choose matters as well.
Right.
So yeah.
And I think too that for her comments to say that she doesn't dress for people, she dresses for herself and she dresses for her husband. But I just kind of feel at some point in your walk in faith that if you're reading the Bible and you're growing with God, there should be some conviction of what you should be wearing. I know it was with me. So like the dress that I may have worn that's a little too short, I'm convicted that, hey, you know what? That's not appropriate to wear as a believer or woman of faith. Hey, that shirt that kind of shows a lot of cleavage, I don't think that's what you need to put on because it doesn't reflect modesty as a woman of faith. So somewhere down the line, for her to have that kind of opinion, she kind of got it kind of twisted, I think, where there is a book that kind of tells First Lady how to dress, and it's the Bible, I feel, and it starts with your relationship with God. Then by the time, or if you're ever a First Lady, then you know how to dress modest. That's my opinion. You guys, what do you think? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think Crystal was about to say something. I was getting ready to say something at the same time.
Everybody's so little on this split screen. So if you want to take the picture down, Tanya, and then when we show the other ones, yeah, because everybody's so little, and I'm like, where are you guys at? So go ahead.
I was just gonna say that there is growth on our journeys, right? Man sees the outside, God looks at the heart. So I mean, she dressed that way, and this could be the start of God working in her heart to shift her mindset on how she should dress.
Right.
We still just see the outside. We only see what we saw.
Right.
And I think that yes, you do. Of course, like Tanya said, if you go out with your husband and you are you're dressing, what you wear is, of course, you want to look nice to him, and it matters who you choose, because at the end of it all, like as you grow in your faith walk, I mean, she may have worn that now, and because of everything that has happened and all of the chatter and talk on social media, may have been something that shifts her heart to where there's an awareness that, okay, maybe I need to shift my mindset in the way that I dress and present myself, in a more modest way. My biggest issue that I have more than her wearing the dress is the way that believers are going after her. Because I've seen some of the comments and some of the social media posts as if they don't have something
Right.
that God needs to transform and work on. It's a progressive journey.
Right.
You know, sanctification is progressive. And so I my biggest issue is how hard. I mean, yes, we have a standard, and yes, the truth needs to be spoken, so that, you know, young believers, or, you know, those young in the faith know which way to go. But some of the stuff that I've seen, it's like, all right, now what you got going on that we just don't see?
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, you know, I think that it's easy for us to, and when I say us, I mean the community of faith, to blast somebody when they can see it, and we quickly forget.
Weekly.
I'm a witness. But my thing is this: who knows? I don't know what her journey is. But who knows if there wasn't something more pressing than her dress that needed to be transformed? The dress could have been the last thing. Like what I wear might be the last thing in my life that needs to be transformed. Right? I might need to be delivered and saved and set free from things that are so much more pressing to my life than the clothes that I wear at this particular point. Now, granted, she's a first lady, so we assume that she's had this journey. But that doesn't mean anything. All it means is she married somebody that can preach. That's really all it means. It doesn't mean that she went through any special sanctification process. It doesn't mean that she's any more saved or holier than you or I. It just means that she so happens to be married to a preacher and I'm not. Right? That's all a first lady means. It's not like I don't necessarily even, I mean, it is God calling you into that because of who you marry, but I can choose to marry a pastor and become a first lady tomorrow if that's what I so desire to do, and if I found that. So that's my thing. But I have to agree with her. For the unpopular opinion, I don't get dressed for anybody else.
Right.
What I wear ain't for you. If you don't like what I wear, don't look at me. That's that's the philosophy of Tanya. You know what I mean? Like, now God has transformed my mind to what you were saying, Lorraine, to where even for myself, there's a certain standard that I have for myself.
Right.
But if you came to me and said, Tanya, I don't like that. I think that that's too tight. I think that that's too little. I think that that's too long. It's too baggy. It's too whatever. I'm going to say thank you. I might hear you, but that don't mean that next week I'm coming in with what you want me to wear, because you don't buy my clothes. You don't supply anything. And if my husband likes it, who I have to go home to, who I answer to, who's the head of my house, then okay, right? If he buys me a dress, then I'm going to wear the dress. Now, the difference is my husband, because I chose right, ain't going to put me in something that's too revealing for the outside eye to see.
Right.
He's going to protect what he has. He's going to make sure that what I have on is safe. It might be sexy, but it's not going to be overly revealing, because he don't want you looking at me like that either. Like, come on now. He don't want you to assume. So there's so many things in that, but there are pieces that I agree with. You know, it's like we want them to do what we want them to do when we want them to do it, and we ain't doing what they want us to do. And they is whoever, the whosoevers.
Right.
So do I think it's an inappropriate dress? Yes, because of the optics, but I don't know where she is. And I agree with her comment that I don't get dressed for y'all. Because I don't. And I won't.
So, okay. So if he said he bought the dress, and say I'm a woman of faith and I am convicted of dressing modest, should I tell my husband, no, I just think that dress is inappropriate to wear as a Christian woman or a woman of faith? Or should I honor him and wear the dress and then deal with the aftermath of what may ever come about.
I think that if you don't feel comfortable in the so if my husband bought me something that I'm not comfortable in, number one, we're gonna have a conversation. If he forces me to wear the dress, I'll probably pick the wrong husband.
Okay.
Like I should have the right in my marriage to say, I don't feel comfortable in that. I can wear it around this bedroom, but I don't feel I
Right.
don't feel comfortable wearing that outside of this house.
Right.
I don't want that type of heat. I don't want that type of attention. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like the dress. Right? That's like if I buy my husband a 1970s get up, he ain't gonna wear that to please me. He gonna look at me like, you must be out your mind. Like, what is that?
Right.
If I bought my husband some skinny jeans, he not even wearing them jokers around the house. He's gonna look at me and he probably ain't gonna be so kind, like, what in the world was you thinking?
Right.
Right? So I think that just because the husband bought the dress don't mean that you have to put the dress on. I still have a say of what I put on my body. You know, and if not, then now that's a level of control that we got to talk about.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So after this controversy, or within this controversy of the dress, I saw on social media that some male pastors were talking about female pastors in the pulpit dressing inappropriately. So can you pull up the other picture and tell me what you guys think about that? So this is a woman of God preaching in her pulpit. Is this an appropriate attire to bring the word in?
No.
And why?
She look like she going to the gym or to bed. Or around the house, like what?
Okay. What if it's hot? Maybe she's outside and it's hot.
Oh, you trolling now. You trolling now.
I'm just trying to bring a point. That's all.
Here's what I would say. It's inappropriate or not. Here's where I would say it's appropriate. If she just got finished leading an all women's workout Zumba event that they were working out, right? And it's all women, and she just so happened to give a word or say a prayer at the end or something like that. Okay, I can handle that.
Maybe that's why she got the shawl on. She threw the shawl on real quick so she could, you know.
I still think it's you can come better than that, right? Okay. But that would be where I would say, okay. But if this is a service, you have men, you have women, and then if it's an all women service, I think it's inappropriate for them to have taken the picture and posted on social media. But if it is an actual service where you have men there, you have women there, even if it's just women and it is let's say it's a woman's service, I believe that is inappropriate. I believe that you're not representing yourself, your church, well, personally.
Okay.
Because you're in a workout outfit.
Yeah, that's true. So I want to.
Well, I got a question. So is it appropriate for you to wear it to the gym as a Christian woman? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know me. You know I ain't putting nothing like that on to go outside. I'm not even walking around my house in that because that's not how I get down.
But let me ask you this now. I talked earlier about women's shapes because, is it because she's got a big dunk that makes it inappropriate? What if she was flat like an ironing board? Would that have been okay?
No.
Here's my thing. Okay, let's go ahead and get real. Okay, no, you can't hide your butt if you're wearing workout clothing. No, you can't. Right. You can, however, you can wear a shirt that's longer, right? You can wear I shouldn't see every print and crevice of every part of your body.
Right.
Like why do we have to see the print in the front? Why is that necessary? That can be
what we call thirst trapping.
Right.
as
well,
a
that's why she
Christian woman,
has
what am I
the
thirst trapping?
bra. Maybe it'll fall in between. Like, I
Well,
don't
she
know.
should have tied it around her waist. Try to
I
show it
don't
around
know.
your waist.
So she is preaching the gospel, and that was brought up about her outfit. Is that appropriate in preaching the word of God? It clearly doesn't qualify for Timothy 2:9.
That's a distraction. That's a distraction for somebody who is struggling with sexual sin and temptation. That's a distraction.
So that's to me, okay, because I wanted to dive in a little deeper. So you feel that that's a deliberate distraction? Deliberate.
Well, I don't know that I can say. What do you mean when you say deliberate? That she deliberately put that on?
Well, she put that on because I wanted to dive in deeper because I was talking about, body shapes and stuff like that. So deliberate that, this shows your curves, this shows everything you pretty much have. And I'm putting it on and I'm preaching. You think that it could have been, and we're just, having conversation. Could that have been a deliberate distraction to attract?
Perhaps.
Okay.
I think there's always a could have been. I think here's my thought on everything that we're going to talk about. I think some people are unlearned. Yes. They're not taught.
Right.
And some people are too, when we talk about dress and modesty, we're too in the world.
Right.
If that makes any sense. I think that going to the gym, my husband goes to the gym all the time. He's a gym rat. He's gonna get his workout in. There are women that come like this to the gym,
right?
Not because they want to work out and get fit.
Nope.
There are women that come. We wear these. Okay, I don't have to have on a cute outfit to go work out. That's not gonna make my workout better. It's not gonna make me stronger. It's not gonna make the machines work right. It's because I want to be cute in that outfit. Right. Let's be real. When I buy a workout outfit, I'm like, "Ooh, that's cute."
Mm-hmm.
When my husband buys some sweatpants, he's like, "Do they fit? Are they loose enough? Okay." And then he putting on some raggedy Tims, not raggedy, but he
right.
ain't.
Why are you looking cute shirt, to go to the gym?
Yeah, his shirt may or may not, match his pants, or it's definitely not a set. He ain't wearing no set. You know what I mean?
Like tennis shoes.
Yeah, I got on a whole Nike outfit.
Well, hold on now,
I'm not saying that's wrong. That's not what I'm saying. Right, but what I'm saying is, what is your motive?
Right.
What is the motive behind you getting in the pulpit to wear that? You couldn't put on some slacks. You couldn't put on a dress, a skirt, a skirt set, some knickerbockers. I mean, I don't. There's so many other things that you should have in your closet, and again, I don't think it's appropriate for you to show up at church like that if you're saved.
Right.
If you're saved and on your healing journey. Now, if you got saved yesterday, come on, baby. I could care less.
Right.
And we're going to do like the old mothers. We're going to get the sheet and cover your little legs up. And it's okay, baby. It's all right. And then I might have to take you shopping.
Right.
Because if you don't got it, you don't got it. If all you have, okay, when I first started going to church, all I had was club gear. And I rocked it to church happily. And the church mothers covered me up every Sunday.
Right.
And I didn't know what was, I didn't know. I'm like, I'm not that cold, but I guess I'm cold. So sure. Good thing I'm a cold person. So it worked. I didn't know, I didn't grow up in church. I didn't have that Christian foundation. All I knew was that I needed something in someone. And so it was coming. And they didn't push me away. But then they started to teach me. I still remember the first time I ever got my first church suit. One of my the mothers in the church, when I say I rocked that thing as often as I could, I loved it. I didn't know. And then, like you said, Lorraine, there was a transformation of my heart in regards to what I wore. And so but I can honestly say I might fit into some of these categories, because people will say that the things that I wear might be inappropriate because they are fitted.
Right. And that's why I'm saying to you, and it will dividend, there's only so much you can do if you have a shape. I mean,
yes and no. Yes and no.
To look appropriate, like
yes and no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes and no.
Go ahead.
I can. You might still see my shape, but I can cover up. One of the things Crystal said, she could have wore a longer shirt. There are some cute longer shirts. If she wanted to wear that, she could have wore a baby doll dress.
Right.
She could have worn a cute sweater.
Right. But if you have a shape, even though you have whatever you have, it's going to protrude. So you're going to still see some kind of outline of your, and it's going to get, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. You can still see an outline of your shape. Maybe you have a long sweater on, but if you have a big donkey dunk, you're still going to see that.
It's not the outline. It's not the outline that's the problem. Because you're not going to see an outline of my panties and my butt. You might see that I have a butt. If I have on a sweater or a jacket or a long shirt, you see that I have a butt. You're not seeing the outline of it.
Right.
You're not seeing the crevices of my private.
No, you're not seeing that, right?
So there is a way that you can still put clothes on your body with the shape and have it look presentable. Right. And have it look appropriate. Right. And people still know that you have a shape. I'm not saying that you got to wear a big muumuu. I'm not saying that you got to wear the Little House on the Prairie dress, although I will rock that as well.
Right.
With a cute belt. Hello. Right. So I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that we have to teach them that you can dress appropriately and modestly. Now, are they still going to see a shape? Absolutely. And that's not wrong.
Right.
Right? If you're big, I'm going to see that you big. If you skinny, I'm going to see that you skinny. If you got a butt, I'm going to see that you got a butt. All of the above. But I can still, whether I'm big, skinny, or in the middle, I can dress it appropriately.
Right.
Yeah, because I've seen comments galore of people arguing back and forth in the comments saying that, they can't hide this and they can't hide that. And don't be mad because you ain't got a big butt. Like, it's not, you can dress your shape modestly. You can cover up. And it doesn't mean, like you said, Tanya, that you got to wear big baggy clothes. We'll still see that you have a shape, but we don't have to see every imprint and crease and crevice and bend of your body. Yep. That's not for
us. I see the dimples in your booty.
Right.
I don't want to see the dimples in your booty.
Don't want to see the dimples now.
But I'm not trying to hide my shape. That's not my goal. So if you see that I have a shape, that's okay. And you guys see how I dress. However, my goal is to dress appropriately, where I feel comfortable and cute. Now they may feel comfortable and cute, and it is what I can't tell them otherwise. If you feel comfortable and cute, I think it's inappropriate.
And I mean, we have to have a standard as kingdom women of God. We have to have a standard. There's gonna always be a standard. If the Bible gives us the standard. And I think that everybody, depending on how you were raised, depending on what you're used to, depending on what your experience was, there's a journey. And everybody is not at the same place at the same time. Everybody, and like you said, Tanya, just because you're a first lady, or just because you're a Christian woman, doesn't mean that, that if you dressed inappropriately before, and that's all you've ever done, that now all of a sudden, when I decide to give my life to God, that I'm going to stop dressing that way, that there's residue that's there, and those things have to be transformed, and those things have to be worked out. I mean, it's not something that just shifts and switches overnight. It can, however God deals with you, it can, but just because it doesn't mean that somebody isn't on their journey and walking with God and pursuing and growing in the faith. I think we go so hard. We're so, and of course, when you see things on social media, there are so many things that are unseen. There's so many things that are unknown, but we are giving our opinion and our thoughts on what we see. And there could be so much more that's happening that we have no clue of. But you know, I see Christians, believers going so hard, having all these opinions about things, and like I said, we all got something.
There's a lack of love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pull up that second picture, the next picture, Tony. In the white dress. What y'all think about this? Preaching the word of God.
Is that real?
Yes. What, her butt? The preaching or her booty? I don't know.
Golly.
So
I think it's inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate.
It's very inappropriate.
Yeah.
And I would think that that's inappropriate even if her butt was smaller.
Right.
So it's not the size of her behind, it's the tightness of the dress.
Or
Right.
if she had
Again,
like a
she
jacket
can-
on.
If she had a jacket, I think it would be more appropriate. I think it would be more
Absolutely.
appropriate.
Right.
That's
If
all.
she put on a blazer that was long enough,
Mhm.
not a blazer that stops above her butt, but a blazer that's long enough,
Mhm.
right? I think that maybe a quarter length blazer or jacket or whatever. I think that it would be appropriate, right?
Mhm.
She's a shapely woman, whether real or not. That's not for us to decide. But she's a shapely woman, and so I don't even if she wore a skirt that flared out, her butt's gonna look big because it's big, right? But I think that there's just things that we can do and we choose not to. So we come like that and say, well, this is my body style.
Right.
You won't see me in a bodycon dress like that, especially at church. Now, if I'm out with my husband, might I wear a bodycon dress? I might. But I'm probably gonna wear a jacket anyway because that's kind of what I do. If you come to my closet, there are 1,001 sweaters on purpose because that's where I feel comfortable.
The
right?
cover up. Yeah.
I don't like people looking at me like that. They're gonna look anyway, but I'm not trying to draw my husband knows what I have. He's the only one that needs to really know, to really see creases and crevices, right?
Right.
So I think that it's inappropriate because now none of the men are focused on anything she has to say. I don't believe. The women probably aren't because all of us were like,
is that real?
Yeah, like,
even the men that are trying to that are, you said, and none of the men are focusing. I mean, they probably in the fight of their life trying to focus.
Right. So, and this is what I was going to throw in. Now, if, say for a man, to be distracted, is that something that is his issue to deal with? Or is it the woman's issue to try not to make him, if she's curvy or like, because if you have lust of the flesh, right, it doesn't matter how much you try to cover up or how much, if someone has that lustful nature, you can't really do anything about it because you're doing your part, right?
It's the job of both.
Huh?
It's the job of both.
Right. Because I just feel with certain women who are curvy and try to cover it up, but you still see curves and whatnot. Is that your fault that someone's lusting after you? Or is it that individual's fault that they can't, that's something that they have to get out? James 1:14 says, but each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's fully grown, brings forth death. So I think it's like a catch-22. So there was a pastor that put this picture up. The next picture can show it. And he said that it was inappropriate for a preacher, not the white one. Can you pull the last picture up, Tanya? And tell me if you guys think anything's wrong with this. She's preaching. What y'all think about this? Look like some men are behind her looking too. But for me, I don't know. She's shapely. Is that appropriate for giving a message?
I wouldn't wear it, or I would wear it with something covering me. I don't think it's horrible. But for me, in my journey, I'm speaking personally. I was raised in church, so I was raised with the concept that you dress modestly when you go to church. You don't want anybody to be distracted by something that you have on. So perhaps I would, wear some jeans that are not as fitted. Especially if I have to stand up in front of the congregation. That's me personally, but I don't think that what she has on is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I would have put on something to throw. If she had thrown on a nice little blazer,
mm-hmm.
we probably wouldn't view it the same way, or I wouldn't view it the same way.
What about her arms being out? Is anything wrong with arms being out?
I personally don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Tanya?
Sorry, it's going in and out on my side. What if she had on a blazer and took the blazer off? Like, you know how pastors get to preaching and they take their jacket off? I don't think there's anything wrong with what she has on.
Yeah,
personally. Yeah. Whether it's my cup of tea or not, I also think the occasion matters, right? I have preached in jeans, but it was a youth Sunday. And jeans similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Different shirt, things of that nature. So I don't think that it's inappropriate. She could have had on a blazer. She could have got hot as she was bringing forth the word. She could have taken it off. Maybe she's given the announcements. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything wrong with her outfit per se.
Right. And I don't think it's anything wrong with her wearing jeans. Who made the rule up?
Now they're fitted jeans, like was she supposed to have baggy jeans on? I mean, they fit quite well, looks like. But her jeans should have been baggy.
Baggy? Who wears baggy jeans?
So that's the whole thing. Like, I think her outfit is cute. She's got her little heels on. She's got her jeans on. The shirt, matches the outfit. I think it's well put together. I don't think that she's not showing any boob or cleavage. Looks like she has a body. I think it's appropriate. For me, I think so. Any other comments about this? And you can take that down, Tanya.
Nope. Okay. Nope. Like I said, I would wear it.
Yeah.
Not that means anything, but I would wear it.
Right. So the whole reason, I guess, why I wanted to do the dress and talk about different angles on this and the Women of Virtue's walk of faith is that you can't really go on anybody's opinion but your own through the Word of God. The Bible tells women of faith how we should dress. Modesty is key. So if you're reading your word, if you're really diving into wanting to be a woman of virtue, God leads you and he tells you or he assures you if something's right or if something's wrong. And it could be through a person, but if it is through a person, then you'll have a knowing that that's coming from him and not someone's opinion. about what you have on or how you should dress or anything like that. So I just wanted women who may be struggling with how to dress. Is this appropriate? Is this inappropriate? Just go to the word and seek God's face on it in prayer and stuff, and he'll let you know what is appropriate attire to walk out your faith in. Any other comments? Tanya, can you hear me? Tanya?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have any well, my comment is, I know that we said that there should be a standard and things of that nature. I think that that's relative, because we saw 4 different women, and although we might have had the same thought on most of them, the last one, that's really relative. So is it appropriate? Is it inappropriate? I think that at the end of the day, it's go to God and like you said, figure out what he is telling you. And if there's conviction there, then change the outfit, right? If you do the shout test and you fall out and your skirt is over your head or it's too jiggly or whatever, then okay. But I think that people are going to say what they want to say,
Right.
and they're going to like what they want to like. And they might think that your dress isn't modest, because of whatever reason. But I think that if you are staying true to who God has created you, and like you said, stand in your word and getting that conviction and hearing it and following it from him first, I think that you'll be walking the right path, more so than trying to listen to what other people have to say about you and what you got on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Crystal?
Yeah, I agree. I think that we would do well as a community of believers to really focus on our own journey with the Lord. Because if we live out our lives the way that God has called us to, we are living examples of what it looks like. And, us, when we teach, we also need to model. And so in our everyday lives, and we talk about the Great Commission in that we are to make disciples, right? We're recruiting in every walk, in every area, every space we occupy. We're recruiting, and we do that by building relationships. We do that when we are connecting with people, and they get to see how we react, respond, how we treat them, what we say to them, And I think that if we put our focus on that, and we pursue God and we live the way that he's called us to live, all of those things we're talking about, teaching young believers or teaching women how they should look and dress, and we will be modeling for them what it looks like to seek God and follow him. So that, we know when we are out of line. If you're a believer and you're walking with God, when you're out of line, you know what the conviction of God feels like. It just don't feel right. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I think that we, as a community of believers, we would do well to really focus in on our relationship with God, because that, when we abide in him, our time that we spend with him, and it pours out of us. And so others can see that,
Right. So I think that we've concluded that the dress that she wore was appropriate for her at her time of faith, her walk of faith, and where she is right now with God. And if she feels comfortable with it, she feels comfortable with it. And our opinions, they really don't matter, in the fact that she has to do what she feels is best for her in this walk of faith at where she is right now. Agree?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ladies, for having this discussion. I look forward to having more discussions like this, perhaps, in the future. And thank you guys for listening, and hit that like button and subscribe. And we want to make sure that you guys know that we love you. from the bottom of our hearts, and we want to help you as best as we can in this faith journey. We're not perfect, but we do have some kind of things in life to share to help each and every one of you through your journey. I wanted to leave you with, I just want you guys to remember to stay anchored in God, led by love, and unshaken in virtue. Good night. We love you. Bye-bye.
She's been through storms, she's walked through fire, still moves with strength, not loud but higher, no spotlight needed, no grand applause, she stands for truth, she knows her cause, and she's not perfect, but she's real and sure, a woman of virtue who will endure.